All right, welcome to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. I'm Lipstickpaddy, and I'm a huge fan of Manchester United. Obviously, if you know me. Now, I'm an expat, Irish expat living in Mexico, and I always watch Manchester United live. Of course, I do. I love the team. I love the club. Europa League, we're gonna win it. Anyway, today we're gonna look in focus at these, and I'm gonna tell you what people are talking about and why it's gonna be incredible. So first of all, do I like the stadium design? I do. I think it looks absolutely amazing. I think my first concerns were, oh no, they're putting a cover on it and it doesn't have any flat surfaces for solar power or photovoltaics, but apparently it does. So it's within the skin structure to actually not just harness the sun, but also the rainwater too. So that's really cool, and it is like an umbrella. And the umbrella is actually going to be covering all of the club's owned structures. So when people think, oh, this is going to be paid for by the government, no, the government is actually paying for the stuff outside of this. They're redeveloping Old Trafford, is what these new houses that you can see here. Most people will love the fact that there's this railway here. But I'm assuming the away fans are going to come down, will get the train straight into the Manchester United here. So they're going to be, away fans are also going to come down the thoroughfare here. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. It has that kind of Wembley feel to it, doesn't it? I should say the old Wembley. I love the fact it's going to be probably one of the most incredible rotational walks around the stadium. Like, if you've seen the Everton Bramley-Moore Docks Stadium, the new one they're going in, you might want to go around the back of that. It's got that kind of tiered look, and maybe they'll put a theatre at the back there. That might be interesting to go around there, to look at the ferries and stuff like that. But here, as you go around it, if you watch the promotional videos, they certainly have some exciting things that you will see just walking around the stadium. Now, when you look at this picture, you have no idea why it's super unique. And when you look at it from here, you have no idea that there's 2 levels below the surface. It's actually around 12 meters, I think. We're going to look at the actual data. So if you walk in from street level, you will be in the middle tier. You're going to be looking down at the grass from the ground, from this level. So it's absolutely great, because if you're digging down in the ground, you are basically saving money on construction, right? You don't need to kind of, you kind of need to support the ground, obviously, so it doesn't cave in. But essentially, you've got one side, which is the ground, where you're saving money. It's like it's a cave. We'll see that there is a cave that they're building. I guess the cave will be expensive, of course. And, of course, the umbrella skin that's doing the solar and the water will be expensive also. But they are bringing in, you can see the Manchester Ship Canal here. They are going to be bringing in the pre-manufactured pieces. So yes, when you construct things off-site, prefabricated, it is more expensive than building it on-site. That's clear. But when you build it off-site, though, you can essentially do bigger things. And Sir Jim Radcliffe, in his video, the official presentation of this, he did say that his new building in Belgium, his oil processing plant, is going to be the biggest in the world, and they've built all giant parts from this factory. So they already know the process of how it's going to be constructed. We saw that in Lord Foster's video. So it's going to be like they're going to need 228 off the top of my head and they're all going to be brought in via boat. That's going to be so interesting to see them all coming in. But it just means that, are they already making them? Question mark. And when I say that, I'm not being flippant here. I actually think that, because to have these visions, these aren't concept pictures. These are renders of what it will look like. The plans have already been drawn up. They could have put this straight to the manufacturers to get this working, or at least in a queue if the company is, has projects and stuff. So they might already be in a queue. And so I imagine that this is already going on. Like, this construction is already started. Because at the end of the day, it does have to be shipped here, and you're not gonna get it here that quick anyway. So maybe you have to get the order in rather quick. And we know from the Andy Durham, the MP of Manchester, I was terrible with names. He does stress that the stadium does come first, but we'll talk about that in a minute as we go through these pictures. But let's start the cycle through and talk about more interesting stuff as we go. Right. Now, you see these pictures, and what it's not showing you is away fans that would be coming down here. But this is actually not from the train station, isn't it? So maybe this would be local fans, because here we're seeing the, not the longest view, but you might say the Stretford end view. But I love all the markings here, and it does look absolutely fantastic, the atmosphere. What I also like about this is you've not got your football hot dog stands and all that stuff. They have their own structures, don't they? But it does look like there is shops here, though, doesn't it? Like clothing shops and things like that. But these aren't going to be Manchester United owned. These are going to be just retail that's in this section, is what I think. So anyway, let's keep going. But I mean, here when you can see the three arcs, that's kind of a picture you're going to want a selfie with, isn't it? With the trident coming into view here. And certainly, I don't know how much it's going to be to go up there at the top. It's kind of like the champagne top of the Eiffel Tower, isn't it? If you go right to the top where they sell champagne. 18 euros a glass the last time I was there. But here you can kind of see the tiers, the upper tiers from here. And it's great because it doesn't actually have like a wall around the outside. It's overlapping wonderfully, like a wafer design. So it actually doesn't feel like a building. It feels like it has this amazing balconies that are going around the outside. So it kind of makes it feel much of a lighter and doesn't make it feel like a stadium. It's going to feel incredible. And here you can see from the street level, you can see potentially, you're not realizing how low the stadium is. Like, you're only in the middle tier here. So it's going to really be an incredible thing when you go in. It really is going to be a theatre when you go in. I like Red the Fred is in this photo. Like, he's going to be out here. You'll be able to take a photo with him. This is fantastic. And we've got kind of Oriental people here, kind of showing you maybe tourists coming in that are going to love this. Maybe they don't even support Manchester United. We can see a family here not even wearing any red. Maybe they're the away people that are coming here and fascinated by it. Any football fans are going to be interested in walking around here. It's going to be interesting. But, are you going to the game? I'm not going to the game, but I'm going to be in the area because potentially it's going to be on TVs here and you'll be able to kind of get in the atmosphere here. We've got kind of this ball over here, which is like a video ball, like a very small version of the one The eye that they've got in Vegas, that's kind of interesting. But even though people call it a tent, it's like a glass. It's definitely transparent. We'll talk about that. And the poles themselves are so intricate and fascinating in an architectural way. It's really super, super cool. And they've got the kind of the things that you're seeing at Old Trafford at the minute. The museum's obviously bigger. The Red Cafe, which is at Manchester United, but it's obviously bigger. And you've got the United store here, which is going to be massively bigger. And all that stuff. But yeah, and you can see here there is a focus on kids coming here. And one of the reasons to push the envelope of supporters is to give cheaper tiered seats, especially at the top tier where you can sell the cheapest seats where the kids are probably going to be going. Because one of the things, if people think, oh no, the prices of this, they're actually going to be tiering Old Trafford at the minute with 4 tiers of seating. And I think when this big stadium comes, they might have an E tier, which is the cheapest ones. And that will have the discounts on it. But yeah, they would kind of want to make sure that there's kids coming to Old Trafford again when there's going to be like low seats, and we'll talk about that as we go through the pictures to justify that. Now, if you're looking at the ceiling here, what you don't get is, and I need to turn to the daylight version, is it's clear. Look at that. So it is like glass. It's an incredible glass roof. Now, there is, how do you make a new stadium have the charm of the old stadium? Well, first of all, you have the Munich tunnel. Yes. And on Norman Foster's video, I think it is, you see them coming out, the players, the animation, you see them coming out of the tunnel. So they're hoping to keep the tunnel walk, so that's going to be similar. Also, you notice I know this is low quality, but you notice the stands here have the exact same colours and distribution of exits that Old Trafford has. That's going to be pretty epic. And so I think the way you look at the stand and the way they've done the exits is so much an Old Trafford thing. The corner piece where they're all going to walk out to the stand is an Old Trafford thing. Also, one of the problems with the Old Trafford pitch is the trough, isn't it? Where players sometimes fall off the trough. Here, it's been completely flattened. Of course, it's breaking that. It's fixing that problem. So that's going to be fantastic. Notice the roof is kind of... it says it's going to be collecting water. So it's going to be just following gravity going down, I guess, on the roof. Has got the video screen up above on this thing, which is great, because if you look at certain stadiums in the Premier League, they've actually got a video camera in the stand, which is taken away from seats. And if you look at Norman Foster's video, when they come out of this tunnel, it does say on the tunnel, the Theatre of Dreams. So they are going to keep Theatre of Dreams. They're not going to call it New Trafford because that's a different location in Manchester. It is still Old Trafford. Are they calling it the New Old Trafford? And then after a bit, they're just going to call it Old Trafford. That'll be interesting if the name stays the same. Or if it becomes like the Old Trafford Amazon Old Trafford, or whatever they're going to call it. If they get a sponsor. So let's just say the middle that you're looking at here is underground. It's dug down. And this is why the stadium, when we look at it, if I go back one, it doesn't look so tall. doesn't look so tall as a stadium. These kind of events might be, you know, is there a game going on? This might just be an event at the outside of the club, so they can hold events outside and of course inside if they want to do that. And the areas around the stadium are going to be, like I say, great to kind of go around and look at. Right, so we've got some key facts here that I want to look at, and it kind of shows you, they're calling it the new Trafford Stadium from the architecture things. Now, a lot of people are saying it's a 100,000 stadium, but it's actually 104,000, which is just under Camp Nou in Barcelona. But this is preliminary, and I'm guessing they're probably going to try and get it above. It's only an extra 1,000 seats. They'll probably fit that in somewhere, in my opinion. But the most exciting thing about these details here is the underground bit. The level of the pitch is minus 15.9 meters. That's massive. 16 meters. That's 4 floors underneath. Out here is the street, and the street comes down here. You can see it's got underground parking. You're in the middle of the stand, and the pitch is down there. I say the middle of the stand. You're kind of in the you're up in the upper third, is what you are. So yeah, it does have this underground section of the building, and yeah, we can look at another picture of this. Street level pitch is, 16 meters underground, so you're actually going to be down there. So yeah, the actual stadium is going to not look as high as another stadium would do, because it's hiding a lot of its structure underground. This is pretty cool. I love it. And this is a really cute way of doing it, because not only do you have underground parking, but you also make the building look small and intimate. And I think that intimacy is going to be very good, because a lot of people think these stands are going to be huge. They are going to be huge. In fact, if I go back to this plan here, it talks about the masts. There's two small ones. The two small ones are 150. The big one is 200 meters. A lot of people are saying it's the smallest. And here it says Blackpool Tower is 158. And the tallest mast is going to be 200 now. When you drive to Blackpool, it's the N50. Is it the N50? It's like 4 lanes. You can see the tower from like 30 miles out. So the 200 meter one, there might be, I think they're saying it's like 50. It's absolutely massive. And of course, it's not as big as the Eiffel Tower, which is 330 meters. It says here 37.4 range, but no, you probably can see it further than that, I would guess. So if you're travelling to the site, you're definitely going to be able to see the pitch. You're definitely going to see it on your way to Manchester. Yeah, so it says the canopy is a material. It is fabric, and it doesn't talk about how it's going to get solar panels from here, but it says it's acoustically invisible fabric, so transparency is its key. Again, the technology that they're talking about, we just don't know about it. Maybe it is on this roof up here, which I guess is flatter. Yeah, so maybe it is kind of flatter there. But yeah, it does look absolutely stunning. So this is the 200 one here with the viewing tower, and these are the 150s. From this model, you can see there's only kind of a center of the pitch that's going to get the rain. So there's so much coverage from the roof. It's fantastic. Yeah, so Old Trafford is here. And in this build, Old Trafford has been destroyed. Now, they are saying that this picture is using the dockyard here. The freight trains are using this bit. And once the government budgets this out, it's around about £140 million, which is a drop in the UK's budget to move that rail. That will get the thing started, because the rail is going to be moving some other place. I can't remember the place it's going. And then they can fix the lines, right? Because this train line at the minute, it kind of comes in here. And they're going to do a land swap with the government. So I think what's happening is they're going to give the ground of Old Trafford away. And I think this is Old Trafford. They're going to give Old Trafford's ground away, and they're going to get the railway land. So there's going to be a land swap in the plan. I think this is Gary Neville's hotel here with an expansion. Hotel football has been expanded. And at night, it just looks stunning, doesn't it? A lot of people thought that it would change colour and stuff, but I don't think that's the plan of the canopy. I don't think it's going to have that. I really don't think it's going to have that. It might change with lights around the building, but I don't, because the skin itself is translucent. I'm not sure if they're going to have LEDs in that, like you're seeing over stadiums and stuff like that. But essentially, the stadium is in Old Trafford. It's going to keep its name Old Trafford. You could call it the new Old Trafford, but the new bit will only last a certain time, and then everyone's just going to call it Old Trafford, because this is Old Trafford, and when it used to be the old New Trafford. Hang on. It's confusing me now. Yeah, so this is the Old Trafford, and the old stadium was called Old Trafford. Yeah, it's the old Trafford. That's what we're going to have to say. Oh yeah, one point I wanted to add then. If you're bringing your goods with a truck, let's say you're bringing cement to the side, that's the most expensive transport. If you bring it on rail, it's 6 times cheaper. And if you bring it on water, it's roughly 30 times cheaper. So bringing all of the build on the water is super saving money. It really is the best way of traveling and moving goods, because geopolitics always talks about these waterways should be reopened and stuff across the world, because it's just amazingly cheap. Obviously it's slower, but it's so much cheaper than truck, and certainly cheaper than rails. Alright, so hopefully I brought some new things that you've not learned here. One is the size of the towers. This one's 200, big one, 150s. The fact that it's not as tall as other stadiums, because there's going to be 16 meters underground. It's going to wow people when they first go there and they don't realize how deep it is. And when they go in, they're going to be like, oh my God, we're so high up already. I think it's going to have cheaper seats for kids up in the top end of the plan up here, because otherwise they're all going to go to Man City. So they need to keep bringing kids into Old Trafford. That's a thing. It's going to be an incredible thing to walk around the outside, of course. You can see the umbrella around the sides here are deeper than here. So Old Trafford, Manchester United are going to have the umbrella, remember. And so they only have like a little bit extra to put bits and bobs and stuff. But the rest is going to be private. So yeah, or potentially Manchester owned. So yeah, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now they are going to be staying at Old Trafford while this gets built, so that there's no like drop in revenue. And once Old Trafford is built, they'll then deconstruct it and give this to Manchester. So this is probably going to be the last constructed thing here on the city plan here, down here. All right. So yeah, super excited. So what's next is the government moves the rail freight park, takes it all away. They could probably take that away if they wanted to be quick within a couple of months. But as soon as the government earmarks the money, they can start producing the construction. These 200 and something Meccano set pieces that Lord Foster called it. They can get them cooking, because that's going to take a lot of time to create. And you don't get any of these pictures that I'm showing you from the architect office without having, especially these, without having the actual plans already drawn out. So when I see models like this that are all to scale, for me, the plans are already done. The architectural plans are already done. So yeah, I think when they say 5 years, 5 to 6 years, definitely doable. And it's going to be super exciting following the progress from all the drone YouTubers that will be covering it. So yeah, it's going to be epic. It's going to be one of the most incredible stadiums in the world. And doesn't it fit the biggest football team in the world? United! 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 Well, thank you for watching this video. This channel is basically looking at board games on Kickstarter, but I do like to do the odd off-the-wall one, and hopefully this Manchester United news from the new stadium has helped with some new information. So please drop a like and think about commenting down below. And if you're interested in the next generation of board games, think about subscribing to the channel and checking out my content. And if you do like board gaming, check out my playlists. I have special programs that I talk about stuff in the board game Kickstarter industry that you might be interested in too. Anyway, I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy, looking at the new Trafford Stadium. I can't wait to see it, and when my next visit Europe, I'll definitely come to this place. Who the hell wouldn't?